The heels of a historic Royal Rumble that saw Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan cash their tickets to WrestleMania 42 by the way of victories, Raw hit the Netflix airways from Philadelphia for the fallout from the Rumble. We find out who will be facing the Royal Rumble winners at WrestleMania. Who knows? Let's get straight into the show. And yeah, 2 days after being attacked and eliminated in the Royal Rumble, an irate Bron Breakker stalked the ring and threatened anyone in his path, leading to the Vision attempting to calm it down, and Nid demands issue to Raw GM Adam Pearce. Paul Heyman blamed Pearce too, which caused Breakker to call out the GM. Pearce appeared, told Breakker he would allow him to keep his job despite a piss poor performance in the Rumble, and LA Knight sneak attack Logan Paul and Austin Theory chair. Dismayed Breakker asked Heyman, "What are we doing?" in disbelief as the segment closed. I think quite a good way to kick it off. Heating up Bron Breakker. I guess maybe a Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania. Who knows? We'll have to see. Before we move on to our next match, which was nursing shoulder and rib injuries, Javon Evans squaring off with El Grande Americano. And yeah, Americano targeted the obvious injury, slamming his opponent into the ring post, entering the break. The resilient young star fought through pain and back into the match, delivering a coast-to-coast swanton for a kick to the head for two. Bravo and Rayo attempted to interfere, but the original El Grande interrupts the match and provides a distraction, allowing Evans to win with an OG cutter. Yeah, look, it's a pretty predictable match, but it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, so I'll give it a 5 out of 10. AJ Styles' music then appeared around the arena, and Gunther mocked him, having retired him the other night, with fans raining down on booing him. The ring general basked in his disdain. When he finally started speaking, Dragon Lee rushed the ring and took the fight to the former world champion. A well-timed cheap shot allowed the tide to turn in heel's favour and allowed him to put Lee to sleep twice. I mean, yeah, good stuff. Made Gunther look like a great heel and dominant. You can't really complain. Before we moved on to Eric and Ivar of the War Raiders awaiting their opponents for a tag team match, and the NXT champion Obafemi's music hit and he made his way to the ring. The ruler obliterated the former world tag team champions, leaving them lying, standing tall, message sent loudly and clearly. Yeah, for me, this is really great stuff. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, it doesn't make the War Raiders look great, and hopefully WWE has better plans for them, but I mean, it made Obafemi look like a monster, especially two superstars of the caliber of the War Raiders. Before moving on into a legitimate surprise for a Royal Rumble, Brie joining her sister Nikki for a Bella Twins reunion. They state their claim for the Women's Tag Championship, saying they're back and ready to target the gold as the original tag team in the division. I think this is absolutely the best use for them. I mean, you know, they kind of are the initial women's tag team, aren't they? Really, what you kind of think of. So yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. Before we moved on to Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, obviously their indisposed due to an injury. Penta went it alone, battling Big Bronson Reed, who was accompanied by the rest of the division. Reed dominated the Luchador, working with him over his size and strength advantage. He wore out the masked fan favourite until Penta seized an opening and teed off on his opponent. His defence was short-lived as Reed came off and re-established dominance. Reed delivered the Jagged Edge, but then there was a following of the Tsunami, but there was no referee to count it after being knocked out and following contact with the heel. The big man grabbed hold of a chair, but LA Knight appeared, delivered the BFT, escaping through the crowd. Penta won the match by count out. Typical face-stricken heel. I mean, it was alright. I'll go with 5 out of 10. Moving on then to Dominic Mysterio returning for the first time since December, introducing Liv Morgan. Morgan admitted she's not sure who she'll challenge yet, but she's going to go to SmackDown to scope her options. From there, she claimed WWE would be crowning a new Women's World Champion when she introduced Raquel Rodriguez. She called out Morgan for eliminating her, but told her to win the title line, and they just about got through it. But obviously there are seeds for the dissension there, and I think that's probably the right way to go with the Judgment Day. But moving on into that match, and yeah, obviously it was a Philly street fight. Rodriguez for Kerr. Big sexy shot first, delivering Lee Primera through a table with a powerbomb to establish control, entering the commercial break. Back from a timeout, Rodriguez widely swung a steel chair at Vaquer, but the champ ducked, then teed off on her challenger with a kendo stick. Everything Vaquer attempted, though Rodriguez cut it off. Whether it was a sustained comeback or a famed devil's kiss, the challenger had an answer for it. That was until the Chilean-born competitor weathered a slam on the steel chairs and delivered consecutive devil's kisses on a steel chair, the other on the ring set. Frustration setting down the match with both women expressing as much after failed pin attempts. Liv Morgan, despite orders not to get involved, did just that and interfered, nearly costing her friend the match. Roxanne interfered and found herself tumbling through tables at ringside. Rodriguez tried a powerbomb through a table. Vaquer countered, delivering a Hurricane Rana that kind of sort of sent her through a different table. The corkscrew splash earned La Primera the victory. Overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I mean, yeah, it was pretty good. A really fun match, I would say. And yeah, I think definitely the right results. But yeah, Rodriguez, she's got the whole story of the Judgment Day. I think Vaquer Morgan is probably the way we should go. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Roman Reigns then hit the ring to address the Royal Rumble and got a bit nostalgic along the way. He recalled that he won his first World Championship in the city and lost his last one in the same place. When he won his first Rumble there, the fans didn't sound nearly as complimentary to him as they did on this night. From there, he turned his attention to WrestleMania and the champ he should challenge at the event, and CM Punk was the crowd's choice. The world champion joined Reigns in the ring for a big pop. He eventually addressed Finn Balor's earlier words via a tape promo. Reigns took exception, and the world champ claimed the tribal chief was visiting. With the two megastars took shook at each other, it was increasingly personal. Punk reminded Reigns that he once ruled over 434 days. Just because you did it longer, he didn't mean you did it better. Reigns fired up, claimed he let Punk back into WWE when Triple H came to him 2 years ago, and still holds anger and frustration that he made his life a living hell a decade earlier. His ego bruised, he chose Punk as his WrestleMania 42 opponent because he hates him, then stomped off to close the segment in the show. And yeah, this was an absolutely brilliant promo from Reigns, the best that I've heard in probably a long time, maybe even ever, to be honest. I think it really set the stall for this programme, which could be an absolute banger. So yeah, this was great stuff. Overall, Raw this week gets a 6 out of 10. What was a very underwhelming show for the first kind of half became much better with the final two segments. I mean, Punk and Reigns immediately created WrestleMania interest, and of course that Vaquero and Rodriguez match really tore it up. There are other things to like on the broadcast, but yeah, except for that, I would say it kind of felt like it lacked energy a lot, maybe from the fans and what we saw. But yeah, there's still the closing segment was enough to really, I think, make this Raw. So yeah, overall not too bad. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.